was adopted at 3 days old into a family that was not able to have children of their own. I have an older brother who's 7 years older than me who was adopted also from a different family. My birth mother was 15 when she was pregnant with me, and my birth father was 17. So my birth mother grew up in a very Catholic church, and in her home she just really couldn't be open about being pregnant, and apparently her parents were not supportive of it, so they actually sent her to an unwed mother's home. So she went to school and had me there, and I guess it was just a very difficult time in her life. For me, being adopted, I have had all my wants and needs met. There's been nothing that I've ever felt that I wasn't able to have, wasn't able to achieve just through the parents that I was given, having been adopted. And it's been such a blessing in my life, and it's been such a gift. It's been basically everything that's kind of held who I am. I think for myself in particular, I had a lot of serious medical issues growing up that probably wouldn't have been addressed correctly. My parents brought me to the very best doctors they could have, and the struggles that I had, I didn't have to struggle anymore. And I think a lot about that. If I had been elsewhere and had been raised by different parents, I don't even know if I'd be sitting here, because they probably wouldn't have been capable of providing that kind of medical care for me. So I definitely feel that God wanted me to be with this family. God has been at work in my story because it amazes me the connection I've had with my adopted mother. As an infant, I think people don't realize how traumatic it is to be taken away from your mother. And so I feel as if the only thing I could think of is that I clung on to my adopted mom because she was the next person that I knew. And to me, that's God's work when I see how connected I was to her, and just that relationship that we had. It was not typical of a mother-daughter. It was a friendship, but there was a mother-daughter connection and a relationship. But to be that connected to somebody who's not blood, it just blows me away. So God has been at work in my life through that relationship in particular. Over the years, too, as I became interested in knowing more about where I came from and my biological family, God was at work, because it was a risk to reach out to my biological family, not knowing if, I was gonna have a connection that I thought I could have with blood relatives. And I knew that it was questionable whether they would even want anything to do with me at this point in their life. And I was very accepting of, it may go where they accept me wholeheartedly, or it may be that we want nothing to do with you. I've moved on and glad to know you're well, but this is kind of where I stop. And he was gracious enough to open up that door for me. Growing up, my mother was also a foster mom to infants through Catholic Charities. So we fostered over 25 babies in our home over the course of several years. And that shows God's love for sure. We opened up our doors to these children who had nowhere else to go. And that really taught me early on to, serve others and, to be gracious and open your heart. And it just kind of brought our family closer to have this one child that needed us. And just to see my parents and to see how selfless they were to take in these children, it's something that changed my life and something I'm trying to teach to my children. I was told that I was chosen for this family, and I've believed that. I've felt God's love, and I've felt that I've always been where I needed to be. I've kind of been given a second chance in life. I don't know, again, how life would have looked in somebody else's care. And, I don't want to get hung up on that, but to think back to, wow, what could have been, it grows me, it makes me go closer to God, because I'm just so grateful and so thankful that he chose this for me. And throughout all my struggles, it's not that there hasn't been struggles in this life that I've been given, but I really do feel that he gave me a second chance, because I guess he believed in me and knew that, I should be here and there was a reason for me to be here. I think people should consider adoption because there's an ever-growing need for it. If you're capable of opening up your home to other children who are in need of your love and support, then that's something that's God's work and something that you shouldn't ignore. I think it's a calling too. I think that, if you get that calling from God that you should consider adoption and you should consider foster care, then you should never ignore that feeling inside of Him speaking to you.